And make sure you get those cards in for Cedar Point, because that's a fun thing. Right now, let us welcome back Alan Hirt, who's going to talk about some hanging baskets and how to plant those things. Good morning.
Good morning, Scott.
Good to have you back.
Good to be here today.
Let's show a couple of these. These are very pretty, and these are the kind of things that really make a house look great.
Yes, let's take a look at, some of them that you can use.
Let's start with
the
the
first
yellow
one, the yellow one there, that is a Tuberous Begonia. And that is an excellent one for the shade. Those will bloom all summer. Just water them thoroughly. Oh, if it's hot, maybe every 2 or 3 days, and give them a shot of fertilizer every 2 weeks, and they will just keep blooming and blooming.
That's pretty. How about this one here?
That is another begonia. That's kind of a different one, and that's called a Lady Francis begonia. And again, most begonias prefer shade.
Shade, same thing.
Yes.
Water every couple of days, 2 3 days?
Every 2 3 days. What I do is I go outside and every morning and feel the soil surface. And if it's dry, give it a good thorough watering.
Stick your finger in there?
Stick your finger right in there. It's the best indication of whether something needs water.
None of those fancy things you have to buy.
No gauges, no computers, anything like that.
God gave you this thing
Your
right
finger.
here. That's right. How about that one?
That is another begonia, and this is one that you commonly see as a little border plant, but you can also use that in a hanging basket if you need something that is a little more compact. That's a fibrous begonia.
These are interesting. These little things are different on there.
Yes, the stamens and the pistils, the sex life of a begonia.
The sex, yeah, we will talk about that. Sherry Lehman will talk about that,
yes,
yeah.
Yes.
How about
and
way over
finally,
there?
that's my favorite, that kind of lavender, the fuchsia colored one is a fuchsia, and that is another real good plant for the shade. Fuchsias are a little temperamental on watering, so you have to watch those carefully, and they like a cool patio location.
And stick your finger in those and they'll love it, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty.
And if we have a little moment, we've seen a lot of them that like the shade. Let's take a look at one here that will grow in full sun, another hanging basket. That's an ivy geranium. That is one that will take full hot sun, and you can bring it in the winter and makes a nice house plant.
And the leaves look like ivy, too.
Yes, yes.
Little
But,
bit.
let's go ahead and plant one up now.
Let's plant one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, these baskets that we've been looking at are in the typical plastic pot
That you buy.
I wanted to do something a little different. And this is a wire pot that we have here. And I've added some moss to it for the liner. This is the type of moss that you use. It's just called sheet moss, and they get this out of Tennessee and Wisconsin. Someone goes and picks it up. And
There's a bald spot somewhere right now where that used to
right.
be.
And you just line the basket with it and then add a general purpose potting soil. This is going to be one for the shade again. And we're going to, first plant we're going to add is remember what this one is?
That's the fuchsia.
The audience knows what that is, right? We'll have a quiz later on. We'll put that in the center. This is going to be an instant basket.
Boy, that's right away. It's ready to go.
Yes.
That is beautiful, though. Look at those flowers.
But to add a little variety to it, let's put a begonia. These are called non-stop begonias, and they live up to their name. They just bloom and bloom. We'll just nestle that right in there.
And
it's always good to have 2 people do this because it doesn't sit still.
Somebody's got to hold the basket.
Yeah.
We're going to go on the other side.
Put another one here.
Obviously, Alan, you put the plants that have the same kind of needs in the same bucket,
Yes, these
right?
are all shade plants.
You wouldn't want to put that with that ivy thing over there.
Another thing I might point out with begonias, it's a strange plant. You always want to plant it with the pointed part of the leaves out.
Out?
Because that's the way they bloom. If you turned it around, it would bloom towards the inside.
And you wouldn't want that.
And only our fuchsia would know it was blooming.
Sure makes a nice basket.
Now for a little lightness in it, let's put an asparagus fern. And this is related to the asparagus that you eat.
But you can't eat this.
But you don't want to eat that.
Why do they call it an asparagus fern, though?
Just because it's related
That's
to
all. I
asparagus.
kind of figured that. I asked
Come
the
on, Scott.
obvious question.
The obvious question. Then, for a little hanging in it, this is a Vinca Vine.
Now, why do they call it a Vinca Vine?
You stumped me on that one, Scott.
Because it's related to the Vincas, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
The ancient Vincas.
The ancient Vincas.
They live down in Mexico,
right? That's terrible, isn't
But you can see that this is going to make a nice full basket. And the
gorgeous.
advantage to this type of container is that you don't have to water it so often.
It holds
is
it in
very
because
large.
the moss
Right.
kind of holds it in, yes?
The disadvantage is that it weighs about 100 pounds.
It'll pull the roof
It'll
off your
pull
house.
your roof down, yes.
That's right. Let's take a phone call, 578-0707. That really is nice, though. Good morning. You're on with Alan Hirt.
Good morning. I'd like to ask a tree question. Can you please tell me what you use to spray an apple tree, and do you do it when the blossoms are on or when the apples start? Thank you.
Yes, to spray an apple tree or most any fruit tree, they should be sprayed in the winter with a dormant spray. Then you discontinue spraying while they are blooming. Then after petal fall, after the flowers have fallen off, you spray them once every 2 weeks with a fruit tree spray. And make sure it's one that gets both insects and disease.
Lots of insects around, too.
And lots of disease.
Lots of disease around, too. We don't have any insects today. You didn't bring any insects.
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did? I kind of had a feeling.
Well, first, Scott, I brought
here.
an insect eater. And my cat brought me this.
Oh, wait, you see this.
This is, and that's a mole. And they are just all over.
It was a mole at one time.
And I have a cat that just loves to catch these. Cancun. I have 2 cats, Cancun and Aruba.
Cancun and Aruba.
Love to catch moles.
Members of the Vincas, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that poor mole.
Isn't that something? Yes. But to get rid of moles, moles live mostly on, grubs. But, while they are searching for the grubs, they eat just about anything. So you first have to get rid of the grubs. It's also, you can buy poisons for them, and you can trap them. But moles are all over, and they just decimate your yard. They just burrow and burrow all over.
Their holes are all over.
Right.
Well, I'm glad you brought the mole here, Alan.
I didn't bring my cats, so.
You didn't bring the cats. All right. That is beautiful, though. Nice thing. We'll see you next time. Next week, you'll do?
Next week, plants for the sun. We did shade today, sun next week.
The other side. We'll be back. We got more.